Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's micros market recap. Let's get right into it. It is Wednesday, October 18th at the close of New York. Let's just go right into oil. So oil opened inside of its range, pretty much smack dab in the middle of everything, just right above its close. It just got to its close, and you can see it's bounced off that HVA, punched through, still responding around it, and then came back once more for it and then stalled there. Big brick of consolidation. Tops and bottoms of consolidated areas are going to be generally support and resistance, so you're really limiting your room to run in that regard. But once they finally retraced and gave it a more orderly setup, it did turn around there. But with that said, we are finishing net positive in oil. Now gold, excuse me, gold opened gap up. What is this, like the fourth or fifth day that it's done this back to back? Had a run up, hit that HVA edge, bounced off of it, made some new lows, and then the buyer said, no way, Jose, are we going any lower? And they did not, as you can see, get back to their close. They did make a run up, stopped at that HVA edge, and then they came back down, stopped prematurely, and then stopped at this edge right here, and then made one last run up before they closed, and they just finished inside the range that they made in the day, but net positive nonetheless. So that's positive in oil, positive in gold. Now our equities, that's a little bit of a different story. We opened inside the range in both of them, and we just more recently got out of the range in the NASDAQ, but we've been out of it probably since lunchtime in the ES. So I'll just scroll back here. Actually, I should just scrunch it up. That's probably easier to see. So we opened, excuse me, below that close in the ES. That close was well up there. We never quite got to it, but you can see that they had this move down, and they just were responding around this HVA edge. Some good volatility, and just could not for the life of them get any higher. There was a seller that was just not wanting to go any higher, and then you can see as they came down from their prior low, there was a buyer that just wasn't wanting them to get any lower. But ultimately, the sellers won out on the day in that regard, and you can see it's not like they made huge runs. Buyers definitely stepped in. They consolidated their powers together, as you could say, and then just drove it back up. Or it was just, several large institutions before a large seller overtook them once more and drove it back down. And that was just the general theme of the day. Any ground that was given up was taken back twofold, and then it was matched again, taken back up, and then driven back down. But needless to say, we are finishing net down in the ES there, and a very similar story in the NASDAQ. I couldn't really scratch that up. But that's the low of the day. You can see that we've only been out of the low for, since 245. So not as much time in regards to outside of that range as we've seen in the ES. The ES definitely led that charge today, especially with those trending moves. Not that we didn't have those large trending per se moves in the NASDAQ. We just don't really consider it a trending move if it's inside the prior day's range. We look for more responding scenarios in that regard. But as far as NASDAQ goes, very similar story. Open inside that range, below the close, and they had made that move back up there, and they never quite got to that point of control. So with that said, we are finishing net down in the NASDAQ, net down in the ES, and positive in gold and oil. If you're interested in learning more information about the methodology and these levels that are given out the night before, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook or go to our website at targettrading.co. Get in touch with a representative of either location. They'll gladly show you what we do in our rooms each and every day. You'll be able to see for yourself why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. We look forward to seeing you there.